Mama Helen and you. Mama Helen and you. Mama Helen and you. Mama Helen and you. Keeping our children safe and our environment is of importance. It is expected that parents do their needful in order to make sure that our children are not exposed to hazards. The need for safety and first aid in the home. That's what we're going to be dwelling on Mama Helen and you, all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. I am excited and you do not want to miss what is about to come your way. So, let us begin. Back in a moment.
So please don't allow your children when you are not there to enter your kitchen, because they want to cook when you are not there. They will on your gas cooker. No matter what you say, even if you write in capital letter, don't touch.
There are some dogs, you feed them every 4 hours. So when it becomes a routine, the dog gets used to you feeding, the owner coming to feed it every 4 hours. Let's say one day something happens, you don't go there for that 4 hours and you feed the dog later at 6 hours. That dog might eat you instead of the food.
Welcome back. This is still Mama Helen and you, all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. I am really excited because I'm a mother. So safety is key for me. Why? Because those children, even ourselves, needs to observe safety. And so with me today to talk on this topic is not the person from my first handwrite, Dr. Horu, who apparently is a medical director here at Eagle Health Medical Center and a pastor here at Word of Life Bible Church as well. It's a pleasure having you here with us. Okay. And then, of course, with him, next to him that is no other person than the CEO of Passions, Fitness and Spa, by the name Emmanuel Emesakoro. I hope I pronounced it properly this time around. It's a pleasure having you back again.
Thank you, Mom.
All right. Safety.
Safety is when you make sure that anything that is of potential danger is out of the way.
Anything of that could be, yes, potential danger is definitely should be out of the way. Definitely. Any addition to that?
Simply put, it's protection from harm. So.
Protection from harm. All right. Now, I want us to narrow it down to what happens at home. Because usually in a home setting, so many things are there. We have our furniture in place, we have things, we have television, and so on and so forth. Now, when you are talking about safety, there are different levels of it. In other words, if you have a toddler who is crawling, there are certain safety measures that you must have in place. So what are those hazards that needs to be avoided?
Like you mentioned earlier, what is a potential danger to a toddler might not be the same for a teenage or for an adult. So it depends on the home environment, the constitution of that home, the age bracket of the individuals in the home. But generally, let's start from a toddler. Anything that can, because the toddler is not under any control and they cannot perceive danger.
So true.
So if they see a naked wire, they will gladly use it to play.
Oh my God.
Until they are harmed. If they see an inflammable object, they might put it in the mouth until there is problem. So for a house that have a toddler, first, you don't allow any naked electrical appliance, anything that they can touch that will transmit current to be around in such a home. Then secondly, you must make sure there are no sharp objects lying around in such home. Then inflammable liquids like kerosene, which is very common, even petrol, even detergent and whatever that they can ingest unknowingly because they cannot perceive danger. So anything that they see goes into the mouth or they want to touch. So those are some of the things that we can avoid. Then there are some homes, especially in a duplex setting, you want to make sure if it's a toddler, the use of the staircase. A child that is crawling, if you don't control the movement, it can fall from the staircase. So you watch out for those things. I think those are some of the things.
Fantastic. You have really put flesh on the bone, I can tell you that. But I'm sure health and fitness gentlemen would have something to say concerning these as well. Okay,
and we shouldn't put currency, money, in their reach because they can easily reach for, at that age, anything colorful. They like anything colorful. So money should be put out of their reach too because it could easily go into their mouth. And if you're a mother, maybe you're cooking, don't leave the child inside the bowl, the bathing bowl, and maybe you run somewhere to check your food. Make sure you're done with your food because that's what the baby can sleep inside the bowl and anything else might happen. Then finally, maybe pressing iron, anything hot should be put far away from the child as well. Then don't leave your child on top of the bed. A crawling child should not be left on top of the bed or on top of the chair while you're doing something else. I think those are the basic ones.
And I also know, I'm sure the doctor will tell us readily, drugs.
Yes. Like I said,
there was a story about a toddler crawling and then saw something like a bottle of Coca-Cola, but in it, parents put I think kerosene in it, and before they knew it, the child just emptied it into his stomach, and that became a very serious situation. I think it even caused damage or something of that nature. So what would you have to say concerning that? The need for parents to also move out drugs and what have you.
Yes,
medication.
It's very important that not even for toddler, for every person, we must make sure we control access to drugs in the home. Because as something as silent or like not a potential danger like paracetamol, if you overtake it, it can become a poison. So all drugs, access to all drugs must be controlled in the house, no matter the type of drug.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, leaving out and moving to adults, the need for safety as well. Most times, especially in a very rural setting, where they have to sometimes depend on kerosene, sometimes maybe when the electricity is off, they need to put on generator, and we've had on the pages of newspapers death as a result of carelessness in use. What would you have to say before he comments on that?
From the generator angle, I would advise, if you have to put your generator on, make sure if there are spillages of oil or fuel, you need to properly clean that up before you turn on your generator. Then when the generator is running, you don't need to turn fuel into that generator. Turn that generator off, then turn your fuel into the generator. Then if it's under direct sunlight, you need to put it under a shade away from the sunlight. Then also, I think if you use gas at home, you need to turn your gas off from the cooker itself and from the cylinder itself. Always make sure the cylinder is kept away from the house, maybe outside the house and all of that. When you're going out of your home as well, remember to turn off all electronic gadgets off.
That's good. You remember to do that. He's really laid a good foundation.
I think what I will add, first, for generators, you must make sure the exhaust fumes of your generator are well positioned. We almost had a near fatal experience recently. A couple, they were doing party, they horned their generator, they refused to return the shock, and carbon monoxide were just coming. Meanwhile, the generator was positioned close to another flat in the compound, and they were sleeping. That was how the mother of the home and the children slept. They just slipped into unconsciousness. The whole family almost died.
And there have been cases, that result to death. So even yours is this one is even better.
It's a reason because the mother woke up suddenly and found out that she was choking, and managed to run outside. Then opened everywhere, and they dragged all the children. Those ones were already unconscious. They had to rush them to the hospital and everything. All started from the generator. Somebody was doing a party that afternoon, positioned the generator close to their flat, and all the fumes was entering the room.
And that could have...
so if you are using your generator, you make sure the exhaust fumes are well positioned so that it doesn't go into the home. Exactly, the old generators that don't have good combustion, those ones are very dangerous. Then another thing, please, parents must make sure their children don't have access to the kitchen of some age, because they are very adventurous and they want to try things. Let me give you an example of my daughter recently, because she went to the salon. They did this, they are braiding, and at the end of the day they will burn it with candle.
With candle, that's true.
In my house we don't use candle.
Okay.
We use chargeable lamp. Yes, we don't use it at all. But suddenly, I don't know how she got hold of matchbox.
Oh no. She wanted to do a trial.
She carried a teddy bear and wanted to try it on it, and there was a jerrycan of fuel very close.
By.
When I got there, I almost fainted.
Oh my God.
Because I knew the implication if anything would have happened. So please don't allow your children, when you are not there, to enter your kitchen, because they want to cook when you are not there. They will on your gas cooker. No matter what you say, even if you write in capital letter, don't touch. They will touch.
They will touch.
When you are not there. So
I think it is even when you tell them not to touch.
Then they want to be curious. So you make sure there are some areas that they are restricted from entering even in the home. There is some no-go area in the home, so that they are not exposed, especially we are not there. And I advise parents, if you have little children, please, as much as possible, don't leave them unsupervised without an adult presence.
So true, so true, without an adult presence. Now, there is this aspect I also want to bring in, and this is addressing adults in the area of safety. When people go through emotional outbursts and they have difficulty controlling their emotion, there are tendencies for you to wanting to grab anything that is so close by. And there could be, sharp objects such as knife and all that. What would you have to say concerning, and what would be the kind of preventive measures in making sure that people do not injure themselves?
First and foremost, such person need a lot of counseling, so that there's no person that doesn't get angry. But if you cannot manage your anger, it's a psychiatric problem. You should be treated as such.
Someone once said, you're a doctor now, so I'm going to throw this at you. You're still going to go further on this, but someone once said, people, human beings have little madness in them. True or false?
True, man.
True?
Yes. That time when you refuse to listen to reason until you satisfy that urge in you, that is the period of the little insanity. That most of the time, after some time, when we are calm down, we start regretting what happened. Not that you're a mental case yet.
Well, just said there's a little bit of inside.
It's just your humanity that can go
playing out
haywire once in a while.
Okay, so then go back to the top.
So such people, they should be under control. People that cannot manage their outbursts, please, anything that can serve as a weapon should be far from them. Border knife, bottles, or whatever should be far from them. And there should be somebody around such person that can physically restrain them before they cause damage. But please, such people need psychiatric help as soon as possible, because you cannot be around them all the time or control their environment all the time. Okay,
well, somebody might just say, well, am I not going to start, am I going to stop using knife? You know, because every time my wife is angry or my husband is, the next thing is, okay, is there a knife or fork here? I need to shed some. And
that's why I said, if you know somebody has such behavior, it should be handled, because one day it can happen when nobody expects. So such people should be handled as soon as possible, not when they've caused damage.
Well, we've heard what Pastor and Doctor said on the need to handle them medically.
So if you have toddlers around the house, until they've come to a mature age where they can take care of themselves, don't allow your toddlers go near your dog, okay? Because the teeth of a dog are very sharp. So keep them on leash, keep them in a cage. And
I've gone to a house this way, everywhere is glass. Oh, it's very beautiful. As you go around, you see yourself all over. But you have children. You have children at home. Like right now in my house, all my glass tables, side tables, they've all been broken.
Well, we've heard what Pastor and Doctor said on the need to handle them medically. What would you have to say as well?
I think he said the whole lot to it, because you can't be there for them all the time. So sometimes you need to send them in for therapy. Like he said, you need to counsel them. You can actually work on the outer part of someone until you work on the inner part.
A man once said, I'm tired buying television because every time my wife gets angry, she breaks it. And then we say she's the devil. It's the work of the devil.
So they need to curb that momentary madness, that anger. They need to curb it. The person needs to be emotionally rehabilitated. So if not, you're not always going to be there with the person. The person can go somewhere else. There was a case of someone who went outside his own house on water resources to commit suicide outside his own house. Yes, because there is a lot of persons inside the house. He needed time. So he had to go outside the house to do that. So someone needs to talk to them. They need to see a counselor from time to time, like he said.
Yes. Fantastic. They need to seek counselors from time to time so that they can get themselves cured from this madness. Anyhow, there's this other aspect to it as well, talking about safety. And this has to do with animals, you know, the home ones. For instance, there are those who love to have dogs at home, cats. What have you? I even know of some people who not keep snake as well. How do you? I mean, okay, fine. I still want to have my little, you know, bird singing, but then sometimes this bird could go really nasty and go and perch. Or maybe you have dog who suddenly, you know, move around the environment and get himself infected with rabies and all that stuff. What do we do in this light?
If you are trying to keep a pest, you have to be careful that the pest will not become a source of danger. Like what you just said, Mama. If somebody has a dog and does not control the dog environment, and he mingles with other dog and get infected with rabies, and even if they play with another member of the home and beat the person with play, not even this thing, it can get the person infected. And so far there's no good cure for it.
There's no good cure.
There's no good cure for it. So you have to really monitor the environment of that pest that you have. There must be a veterinary personnel that comes regularly to make sure the pest is healthy. 2, the mingling of the pest with other pests must be controlled. And it depends on the age of the pest. There are some at past age where you play with them. If they are past that age,
then you need to release them back to their world.
We've had stories of dogs that have eaten newborn babies. They attack the baby, they devour the baby. Even cats.
That's true.
So depends on the age of the members of the house, to the age of the pest and the behavior. If it's becoming violent, either you now restrict him, like putting the cage or something, or you remove from the house environment.
Fantastic. This is awesome. I'm sure a lot of us are learning from this. I would want to say, because I can see your Iche, would you want to say something concerning what Pastor said? I mean, you have this pet, they're supposed to serve as a companion, or what have you, or maybe a guide, or protection, or what have you. But suddenly, they turn around and become, you know, a hazard.
Let's take the dog for an example. There are some dogs you feed them every 4 hours. So when it becomes a routine, the dog gets used to you feeding, the owner coming to feed it every 4 hours. Let's say one day something happens, you don't go there for that 4 hours, and you feed the dog later at 6 hours. That dog might eat you instead of the food.
Because you refuse to feed it.
There was also a case along Western Road, and the monkey, it was a monkey this time around. The monkey, the owner refused to go there on time. So there was somebody else took banana to the monkey and was just playing with the banana, and the monkey went wacko and wild, and they had to call all these Hausa men to shoot the monkey down. So you should constantly take, like you said, for veterinary checkups, personnel should come check them up. And if you have little children around, a dog does not have play. Let me put it that way. It plays with its teeth. So if you have toddlers around the house, until they've come to a mature age where they can take care of themselves, don't allow your toddlers go near your dog, okay? Because the teeth of a dog are very sharp. So keep them on leash, keep them in a cage, and
that was
yes.
Fantastic. Now, we'll all love to build. I mean, sometimes we erect bungalows, we come up with a story building and what have you. But especially in this part of the world, we never tend to look at the safety aspect of there is no safety consideration, let me put it this way, in terms of building of structures and all that. Even when, you know, there are plans and so on, design that needs to make sure, you know, proper structured in place and all that. And we know through this, there's been a lot of what you call collapsing of buildings and so on and so forth. What do we do in preventing a situation like this?
First, you know, a lot of us like decorating our houses. I've gone to houses where everywhere is glass. Oh, it's very beautiful. As you go around, you see yourself all over. But you have children. You have children at home. Like right now in my house, all my glass tables, side tables, they have all been broken.
So true.
They have all been broken because if you have children in the house, you watch the type of decoration you put in that house. Can this decoration become a potential hazard? Yes, it's very fine, but can it be a potential hazard? Then on the age of your children at home, anything that can injure them is a hazard.
Anything that can injure them becomes hazardous. We've said it on Mama Helen and you, but in a moment we'll be back. But before we do so, an angelic voice is about to come to throw you into a moment of trendy. Mama Helen and you, back in a moment.
Your spirit moves upon us, our face. The word I could never be nothing without your love. I could never be nothing, no one, no way. I could never achieve nothing in you. I need you. Let the ends of the world testify and tell of your goodness and your mercy. Let them not forget all your benefits. Let the mouths of infants sing the praises of the King, the one who's merciful and true and kind, and He is everything to me. You could never be no one, nowhere, somehow without Him. And His
Mama Helen and you. Mama Helen and you. Mama Helen and you. Mama Helen and you.